both Erik McCoy and Kendre Miller hurt. Yeah. How big of a deal is that?
Well, I mean, there's two different factors here. I mean, if you were trying to win every single game, both of them would be huge, devastating blows. I mean, we learned last year more than ever how important Erik McCoy is to this team. I think, funny enough, how good they started, but then how much they missed him when he was gone. I think he's never been more appreciated. I know we ranked him as the number 2 best player on the whole team when we did our rankings this summer. And he's especially important when you're talking about installing a new offense and having a young quarterback and all the things the center has to do. So, and 2 young left tackles around him. He's one of the most difficult to lose players on the team. And then Kendre Miller, obviously, it's disappointing for a different reason. He was finally coming into his own. He was finally maybe going to get some traction in his career after he wasn't able to do that in his first couple of years. But, when you're talking we're not really talking about wins and losses with this team, unfortunately. I mean, you don't want to see them go 1-16 because it's so deflating and disheartening. But wins and losses aren't the measure of this team right now. It's progress from young players that'll be part of the future.
What do you think about Devin Neal?
That block was awesome. The pass protection, and look, sometimes that's what holds a young player back. So for him to kind of get rewarded and recognized for doing the dirty work, it'll probably encourage him to do it more. But obviously we're going to want to see how he runs the ball. But he's about to get major opportunities. They've been manufacturing opportunities for the rest of this rookie class. He was one of the guys who hadn't been getting a lot now, but now he will. So that's one of the best things about this season to me is they're throwing them all in there.
Yeah. What other young guys do you think have impressed you so far?
Well, I mean, obviously Jonas Sanker tops that list. Maybe in part because he's been one of the biggest surprises. We didn't expect him to play a huge role, and he's starting week 2, he's been a full-time starter, and he's made a ton of plays. He had a bad game, I thought, against the Patriots, so I thought it was really important and impressive to see that he bounced back and had a good game against the Bears. Danny Stutsman was super impressive all summer long, and now that they're giving him these, 2 series a game, he's continuing to show what he showed in the preseason. I think that's really promising. I'm trying to think. Well, Quincy Riley. Quincy Riley's a little bit more of a work in progress, but it only helps for him to get these really, really high-value reps. I mean, I just wrote today, I'm not comparing them to the 2017 draft class by any stretch, but that's the last time we saw this many rookies play this kind of role. It's been a long time since we've just seen the volume of rookies playing big roles for this team.
Is if I ask you on the flip side of it, Mike, is anybody that maybe you expected more from, and I guess we could extend that beyond the rookie class, maybe to the second-year guys like Kool-Aid and Fuaga. Yep. Maybe some of you expected more of that we haven't seen?
Well, let me say, I left Kelvin Banks out of your previous question because, I'm treating him like he's an established veteran, but that's the most promising thing of this entire season is the guy they drafted with a number 9 pick looks like he was worth the number 9 pick, and I mean, they need that so bad. They need every high-value draft pick they're going to make for years to come has to hit, and I think that's what's derailed this team more than anything. So that's the most promising thing of the entire team, I think, is the way Kelvin Banks has played. Yeah, the next tier for me is Taliesa Fuaga, last year's first-round pick, and Kool-Aid McKinstry, last year's second-round pick. I'd say the results have been a little mixed, but mostly promising. Mostly promising with Fuaga. I was a little concerned when he had the 2 separate injuries, and I was like, oh no, please don't let this be a thing for him. But he came back and he's looked really, really solid. And then McKinstry has had some tough moments, but he's also made some big plays. And for the most part, like when he's given up a play, it's not like a major back-breaking play. I like the confidence he plays with. I still think there's a ton of promise there. So those are the guys. I mean, that's the whole deal. Those guys have to hit, and the next 3 or 4 that they draft in rounds 1 and 2 have to hit as well.
Yeah. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Chat every Thursday is brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, Unlimited Car Wash Member Club, Benny'sCarWash.com, Benny'sCarWash.com. Mike, I'm not asking you to defend the decision. Maybe just give some explanation and logic, but like, why is Blake Grupe still on this team?
Well, I will try to defend it a little bit. I don't hate the concept of what they said. They actually said this the week before he went 4 for 4, which is I'm trying to think of the exact words. He had shown enough to them to know he's worth trying to salvage. Like, you got to be honest with yourselves in these situations. Like, you don't want to just bench someone or cut someone as a punishment. Like, you missed 4 kicks and now you're punished. You want to be like, would we go out and sign Young Wei Koo? Would we go out and sign Michael Badgley, the guys who have been on the street? Will they be better? Or is it actually better to try and fix and salvage Blake Grupe and identify what's going wrong? Like, is he worth the investment? Obviously Sean Payton felt like Will Lutz was worth salvaging, and that was the right move. So that would be the defense. If they really genuinely believe this guy has shown us enough that fixing him is better than punishing him. But, man, I don't know what's broken. I thought he had a really cool head in his first couple years, like a confidence, a calm demeanor, a steady demeanor. You can't help but think this must be mental at this point. Now, the 53-yarder he missed in Chicago wasn't the most egregious miss I've ever seen, but he's 10 of 16 on the year, or whatever it is, 14 of 20 actually, 6 misses on the year. And I mean, it feels like it's getting close. It feels like it's getting really close to having to pull the plug. But I do understand trying to stretch that as long as you can with him.
Mike, did you have any real takeaway from anything Mickey Loomis said on Tuesday in that interview?
No, I mean, I credit someone else. I think it might have been Jeff Novak from WWL. I can't remember who like counted how many times he used the word developmental or develop or developing, and it was like double digits. But my takeaway is amen. We've seen it in his actions, and now we're hearing it in his words too. They were so resistant to doing what they're finally doing this year. Now everybody would like to say, yeah, they should have done it 4 years ago, and hindsight is 20/20. I wasn't demanding they do it back then when Michael Thomas and Ryan Ramczyk and obviously DeMario and Cam and Alvin were still in their prime. I understood trying to go for it for a while, but for the last at least 2 years, this is what I've wanted to see them do, and I think it took Derek Carr's issue for them to finally force themselves to do it. But now that they're doing it, I'm glad they drafted 9 guys and they're putting them all on the field, and they're not wasting resources on trying to trade for Russell Wilson and plug him in. So I'm glad that's where their mindset is now.
Yeah, they went kicking and screaming, but they
sure did.
But they're there.
Sure did.
Okay, before you go, Saints Bucs on Sunday. Give me a thought, Mike, on what might have to happen for the Saints to win this game.
Well, the Bucs are pretty banged up right now. I mean, if you're a Bucs fan and you're trying to analyze their season, you're probably hoping they can patch this one together, especially after they played so lousy on the road on Monday night. And oh, by the way, that's another thing that's hard for teams to recover from. I almost always, when I go through and I pick the Saints schedule, they have a road Monday night game. I always pick them to lose the next one. So part of the reason is they're probably not going to get the Bucs fastball. They're going to get like the Bucs when you're seeing a pitcher in the playoffs that they threw out there on 3 days rest. But I don't know how you stop Baker. And of course they hit on their first round pick with the Bucca, looks so good. And the Saints have so many problems of their own, including as you led the show off with taking now Erik McCoy and Kendre Miller out of the equation after your run game was so lousy even with them in the equation in the last game. It's, I certainly picked the Saints to lose by 7 or 8 points at least. But, you've got the law of averages and the weird NFL, and the Giants beat the Eagles, and they'll stumble into a couple this year at some point. Who knows if this is the one.
Division games are always quirky for that reason, the familiarity. Yeah. All right, we'll see how it goes. NewOrleans.football, NewOrleans.football. He's Mike Triplett. Get him on Twitter at Mike Triplett. And our chats every Thursday are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Get to Benny'sCarWash.com. Unlimited club members, of which I've been one for a long time. It's a great deal. Wash as many times as you want. Unlimited with the tag at Benny'sCarWash.com. All right, Mike, we appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk next week. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.